the Bass by the Sea Symposium and the Michael Cameron Double Bass Competition. We are on our 14th edition of the Double Bass Symposium, and we were very lucky to have brought the best of the best to Mississippi, including our kind of teacher and mentor, Francois Rabat, was here, and many other great players. This year, it's very special. We have another legend. I heard about Barry Green when I arrived in the United States to do my undergraduate, and immediately I went to the library. I lived in the library when I was a student, and I started reading some old double bass magazines, journals, and I found his book, a double bass book that he has. It's called Advanced Techniques for the Double Bass. And that book was a major influence in my life, a major influence, because I came from very traditional double bass school, Italian double bass school, and I faced with that book that is like very progressive. To this day is a bass that is a book that is still, you can consider progressive, with dealing with many advanced techniques. So that kind of blew my mind, and I went deep in that book. I still have the book. And then those things of life, when I was shopping for schools, for graduate schools, to do my doctorate, I had different kind of options, and I decided to go to University of Illinois because of the contemporary music program that I was interested. And I started studying with Michael Cameron, who was the teacher there, and he passed a few years back, and that's why we decided to create the Michael Cameron Double Bass Competition here, and with full support of his family. And then I found that Michael Cameron was Barry Green's student. So when I played, I believe it was 2001, in San Francisco convention, Barry came to me and said, "Ah, you're my grandson." I'm like, "What?" Grad student, you know. So we have this strong connection, and he come from, you know, he studied with the best of the best. I consider the most important double basses in this country: Murray Grudner, Stuart Sankey, and Abe Luloff. He studied with the who's who in double bass history, and I'm very pleased and honored to have here with us Mr. Barry Green.
So Marcos is talking about my bass career as a double bassist, and I have been the principal bassist at Cincinnati Symphony. I got that job when I was 21 years old, and I was there for 28 years. And very active as a double bassist. But in 1980, so this goes back to 1967, before most everybody in this room was born. That's when I had my appointment with the symphony. Between 1967 and 1981, 70, 80, so for 15 years or so, I was purely a bass player. And then I explored a traditional bass player, so old school, and I was an okay bass player. I mean, I did get that job; that was kind of cool. But then I was teaching for my teacher, Murray Grudner, at Indiana University on a leave of absence, and I had known that many of my orchestra colleagues, especially, do we have any trombone players here? Good. Because the trombone players, percussionists, they're always in the back of the orchestra reading magazines or newspapers or whatever, and most of them had inner game books. That was really the cool thing at that time, the inner game of tennis. It was written by a wonderful disciple of concentration and mastery, Timothy Gallwey. When I was at Indiana University, I had the opportunity to read my first intergame book that people had been talking about, my orchestra colleagues, for many, many years. And it transformed my whole approach to playing playing the bass to teaching. It was a profound shift from old school, traditional, do it this way, to a form of self-learning, of learning through your own awareness, your consciousness. And it's based on Eastern philosophy, which has been around for thousands of years. This is nothing new. It's just paying attention to what is going on in the moment. In fact, the whole lecture for this afternoon can be summed up in my 4 favorite words: turn up the music. If you amplify the music that you're playing, you drown out the distractions that take us away from the music, the anxiety, the do's and don'ts of technical playing. And what's left is the music is what we express. That's our goal. So from that point on, from 1980 to the present, I began to wear 2 hats. I was the bass player, and people knew me as a bass player, but then I collaborated and worked with Gallwey and wrote the inner game of music, which has been around for, I think, 38 years or something like that. And I would do workshops all over the world on these concepts. And so that is what we're here for today. Now, in the last 15 to 18 years, I used to keep these worlds different. I was kind of a crazy bass player doing crazy things. And then I was doing the inner game, which is about consciousness, mind, body, and spirit. So in that period, I not only developed the inner game of music, but I also wrote 2 other books, one on the human spirit and one on the body. So it's combined the 3 areas, mind, body, and spirit. It's about the individual, about who we are as people communicating as people. And so that's what we're here about. And as I mentioned, in the last 15 years, those 2 worlds used to be separate. I've merged them together as a bass player, and now my musical focuses are a synthesis of how can I include the pedagogy of the human spirit and the consciousness in our world into music with my double bass. And I will do that with my program later on this evening with the 4 elements and with music of earth, art, and animals based on art and this world that we live in. And you'll see that it's a different approach, perhaps, where I'm no longer playing the traditional bass repertoire or being a bass player. I'm really being an artist sharing a message about the world and about our humanity, and that's our purpose. So for now, we'll focus though on the inner game, which is where it all started, and it's about the mind, and it's about overcoming the distractions that get us in our way when we're attempting to be at our best at what we do, what we've learned, what we've practiced, what we've gotten good at. All of a sudden, where does the game come from? We find that in a game, the question is, do we win or lose? Well, we find there's 2 games going on at the same time. One game is how well are you doing in relationship to your own ability to express yourself? Is it going well? Are you playing your best? And the other outer game is what's the result of that activity? So you know, like in tennis or in music, you could play a great game and lose the game, but you play your best. And you could also play terrible and win the job and win the game. So these 2 games are going on at the same time. Who you are, what you do, how you express yourself, and what's the end result. And the discovery and the message of the inner game is that that's the only game we can play that we have control over, is how can we be at our best with ourselves. If you play outer games, you're going to lose because it takes away from your concentration. If you play your inner game and keep turning up the music, allowing the music to transcend through you, this is the one that we need to strive for. And we do that through the discipline of 3 simple skills. As I said, the inner game has been around for thousands of years. It's not my invention. It's just a very natural description of what happens in the most natural form of communication. And the three skills that are only music are awareness skills, commitment skills, and trust skills. And that's what the bulk of our program will be about. I have little exercises we do as a group. We have several people to do some very quick musical demonstrations. And I have some demonstrations that could be off the screen that the bass players and anybody that has an instrument, if you play in the key of C, can play whole notes or a couple simple melodies. You can participate in that, or you could sing your part from the screen and imagine you're playing airplane, whatever instrument you would normally play if it's in an orchestra or in an ensemble. So this will be an interactive thing. So I'd like to begin with a little demonstration of the techniques of the inner game and what they are, as I mentioned, awareness, commitment, and trust. And then I will give you a very fantastic demonstration of what happens when everything goes wrong, okay? Because we are stuck in our outer games of achievement and trying to get everything right, old school. So let's start with the inner game. When I started with the inner game, Gallwey made me he was not interested in the inner game of bass. It had to be for all music, all ensembles, piano, voice, chamber music, jazz, classical. And so he forced me to go out of my bass world to explore the tennis concepts that he had made so popular and where it showed up in music. And at that time, rap, this is back in the 60s, happened to be very popular. Then at a point, rap became less popular, and now it's come back, I say like cancer, with a vengeance, and it's all over the place. But at that time, as my way of getting into going from a bass player to try to be an educator and talk about these concepts, I wrote a rap for the principles of the inner game, which I will play for you now. And when I moved to San Francisco, I found this awesome rapper on the street, Market Street of San Francisco, and I realized, wait a minute, I had written this rap. If I could get this guy to read my rap with his beat, we got something. And that's what we'll do right now, and then we'll go from there.
In the game, out of game. In the game, out of game. Keep it out. In the game, out of game. Yo, in the game, check. In the game, out of game. What's the rule? We find new paths to use as a tool. We turn away from doubts and fears and put the music in our ears. Now tell me the point of the inner game. It's about getting rid of all the blends, doing your best with everything. But you're so damn scared that you can't even sing. We're all striving to be our best, discovering what's natural with all the rest. Our thoughts are blocked by fears and doubts, so find some sound to drown it to shout. What's wrong with everything that we're told to do? It's very important that we try for you, trying to please the critic and the teacher. The hands go stiff and the vision gets weaker. Get all the notes, plus the rhythm and duration. Play with expression and the right articulation. You got to look good, so make an impression. When it's all over, you have the right expression. Playing right wins the outer game of music. But sometimes that just doesn't do it. When the outer game fails, look at other things. Start with the music and find what's safe. Just 3 skills, make all concentration. Now let's make an exploration. Awareness, trust, and finally there's will. These 3 skills make tapping. Awareness connects to the sights and feelings. Following the harmony brings out the meanings. Will skills bond us to our commitment. Knowing the tune, you get your contentment. Remembering the fingerings and when to breathe. Playing the right notes, you sure to please. Trust skills, set the music in motion. Instead of accents, playing explosion. Imagine a lake and play it cool. Imitate your idol as a tool. Keep it simple. No doubts and fears. Awareness, will, and trust your ears. Let it happen without blame. We came to play the inner game with all these tools. We have the man, but he's so nervous that he's still in the can. He won't come out to show us the way. He brought his bass, but he can't even play. He wrote the book for all to read, but forgot his own word advice to heed. Make him feel like we want it. while the inner game was written by Tim. Come on, Barry, just loosen up, move your head, and relax your lip. Take a breath and swallow your pride. Off you go for an inner game ride. Here comes Barry with his bass in hand. We'll be lucky if he can stand. One more time, let's bring him out. Hands together, scream and shout. Yo, Barry.
Yo, Barry.
Hey, Barry.
Hey, Barry.
Yo, Barry. One
Yo,
more time.
Barry.
Here comes Barry. Let's hear it, y'all. Yo, Barry.
Yo, Barry.
Come on, Barry. Settle down. Don't be so nervous. Make a fine impression. Uh-oh. Did you remember to comb your hair over your receding hairline?
Forget it, Barry. You're going bald.
No. Thanks for reminding me. You're playing out of tune. Yeah, I know. Maybe Mom was right.
Barry, I told you to practice this week, and you had to be watching all those ball games. You have to practice more, son.
Oh, that signature was flat. Nobody can tell.
I heard that.
Now I've got a pain in my back.
You know what to do. Barry, what are you doing? Your bone is frustrated. Relax your hand. You must be supple. Straighten up. Why you use that finger? No. The sound is all wrong. I tell you this before and you're not listening to me. Less pressure. More speed. Faster. Slower. More good. Second one. Who's that? Who's there?
I'm starting to sound pretty good now.
This is where you're going to really screw up.
No, I'm not. Did you hear that nice sound?
Yeah, but your pitch is getting flat.
No, but I'm almost at the end. I'm not listening to you anymore. I want to talk to you again. Come on, let's collaborate. I can help you. Let's play. Don't ignore me. Talk to me, Barry. I want to talk to you. Come on, let's collaborate. I can help you, Barry.
So have you ever heard those voices in Mississippi? So you kind of recognize that. What happens to us when we start paying attention to those voices? And then as I mentioned earlier, the answer to it is, well, they did at the end. You don't have to listen to that. As you turn away and you start listening to the music. You turn up the sound of the music, the awareness, the commitment, the trust, and that's what we will connect with until we get back into the place where we feel comfortable, and that's ourselves. Enjoy that ride for as long as possible. It's important to remember a special thing that this is not a way to play music. We don't want to get addicted to all these mental awareness concentration techniques as a way, as a new track to play music. You should think of this here, think of that here, think of the dynamics or the expression. When you're in trouble, when the music isn't what it's supposed to be and you're hearing external voices which have nothing to do with music, that's when we have to do a course correction. And so Tim Gallwey calls it, it's a toolbox. It's a thing that's all about the good stuff that we amplify, and we put our attention on that until we get back on track and it's safe and you get into the flow. Human nature will always come in and try to distract you. That's the way it's going to be for the rest of our lives. But the question is, when we get into challenges of concentration, what do we do with it? Do we go to a safe place where it represents the music, or we try to fight the fire, which keeps us away from the instrument? So the theory of the inner games is we're in a prestigious academic institution. We have to do our little theory course here. Is that okay? And then we'll get away from it. So when I played my little solo for you up at the top, I started with 100% of my potential as a bass player, playing for many decades, practicing a lot. But the other games with the human nature This is a real interesting one, so perhaps you recognize Francois in there. All these things, chasing the right fingers, the right bowings, all the technical things, if that's what you're chasing, what about the music? You know, none of that is the music. When we play our best music, all those technical things are in place. But if you're striving for the technical things, there's no music. And so that's when actually doing all the good instructions that you've been told could actually be a bad thing because your attention is not on the music. It's on something else. And then the bottom line has to do, if your attention is on the end result, what happens later? Are we going to get the job? Are we going to get a good grade? Are we going to win the adulation of our friends and family? What's for dinner after the concert? You know, these things have nothing to do with the act, what you're doing, and if you put your attention on that, you start with 100%, and only a fraction of that is left over for the music. Our goal, second line, start with all your potential, you finish with all your potential, and when you notice that you're being distracted by those outer games, then go to turning up the music in one of the 3 skill areas, only one, something very simple, which is only about music. Awareness techniques have to do with the sound, the sights, sounds, and the feelings, and what we understand about music. Commitment skills have to do with how does it go? And how are we going to do this on the bass, or the saxophone, the violin, or the chorus, or the breath support? How does it go? And how do we do this when we're clear on that? We put on our Nike t-shirt, and we just do it. Trust skills. In the little rap, there was an allusion to don't play the hard, fast notes. It's a race, it's excitement. Play the explosion instead of an accident. Play the calmness of the leg rather than adagio molto, which is scary. You know, play the lullaby. The piece is really a lullaby, or the dance form. These are things that inspired the composer in the first place, that is put into a musical language so we could transmit that. But so go to the source and express that through the language of our rhythm and our music. And it's more trustworthy. So I say trustworthy, trust, go right to the source. So these things are all about the music. If you notice you're distracted, you go to any one area of those, you concentrate on that until you're relaxed and you're back into the groove, and you go out your business until the next distraction comes along. It's not a way to play music, it's a way to get back on track and to leave the fire. There are pedagogues and teachers that give you all these techniques about fighting anxiety. I don't believe in that. If there's a fire on stage, why waste your time trying to put out the fire? I would say get the hell out of there. Go where it's safe and go back to your music. And so if you're spending your energy in the fighting with yourself, then there's still nothing left for the music. And so our goal is to just go the other way. Get out of there and go where the good stuff is. So, and once again, the hitter game instruction that we'll learn about today is very simple and only asks that you pay attention to one of these skill areas, focus on awareness, commitment, or trust. Some people don't like the word practice or practicing concentration, so in my own little ridiculous way, I try to make the word practice more attractive. So practice, PR, stands for we play or we perform relaxed. Okay? ACT, awareness, commitment, trust. That's the good stuff, right? And ice is cold, right? So you play relaxed and you act cool. So then practicing is okay. All right, so much for that. So the first area of awareness, we will have a little demonstration, a very short live demonstration with people, some people that I've coerced to come up and play a very short selection. I think the first person that's going to come up is Juan with the oboe. Are you still here? Or did I scare you away? No? Okay, so get your oboe ready. After we go through awareness techniques, I will do a live demonstration, but you'll be the first demonstration in the category of awareness. Awareness, we have, as they say, a toolbox. These are toolboxes. Many good choices. 16, 18. The question is, what's the issue that's out of focus and what needs attention? Sometimes it's a visual focus. Sometimes it's a rhythm focus. Sometimes it has to do with the energy or the phrasing. It could be many different things. So we have 4 areas of awareness. Awareness are skills of attention. They ask us to pay attention to something that's going on. When we're aware of something going on that's not where it's supposed to be, we can fix it instantly. When we're not aware of it because we're nervous or distracted by something else, you can't do anything about it. So the attention awareness skills have instructions like pay attention to, monitor, be aware of, notice, monitor, these things that put us in the moment by moment in that way. So we have visual awareness, and we have sub-areas, good choices. Any one you could do is turning up the music. The answer is what's most appropriate to what you're playing, okay, and where the problem is. So for example, visual awareness, you could look at your body. If you're playing something that's in front of you, your hands, if it's percussion, if it's even in voice, it's the image of your body. This could be something that could give attention to what's going on. Things are where they belong. There could be the music that you're looking at. There could be shapes, contour of a melodic line. If you play a single line instrument, not necessarily a keyboard, well, you could have a line and a shape. We did this with some of the Badasini today, looking at the shape of certain phrases. This can help you connect with the direction of the phrase. There is the imagery that could be in the music. If you're playing something that is a lullaby, you could be following, or if there's text for voice, that's a clear thing that pay attention to what the words are, but instrumental music, there could be something very clearly implied. There could be dance forms that could be implied to give us some feedback. These are visual focuses. So in an orchestra, for example, visual. For example, you could be playing in an ensemble. You could be watching yourself. You could be watching the people in your section. You could be watching the whole people in the whole group of musical thing, whether it's rhythm, harmony, or melody. You could be watching the conductor. You could be imagining what's going on. There's all kinds of good visual focuses. And as a soloist, the same kind of things as we're talking about visual focuses. Sound focus. Oh. I forgot the competition. This is really important. This is a real clear case of visual focus. So you see my $100 bill here? You like that? You might have to split it with your row, but this is what we're fighting for. We want to really do well. We want to win the competition. Try really hard. Make sure your technique is perfect. Are you prepared for that? You're down for that. Okay, so here's the exercise. We're going to start over there. I want you to clap. And then you clap, and then pass that all the way down to the last person. jump up and you think you're the winner, and you try to get the money. Okay? Is that clear? Not sure. All right. So you're the last person here, and then you're the last person here. Now, some of you that really want the money, you might start counting the number of people, saying, "Is this really fair? Does this people have do we have an even number or whatever?" But it doesn't make any difference. You just try really, really hard to go as fast as you can from here to there, and we'll see who stands up first with and gets the prize. All right? Ready, set, go. You did pretty well for not understanding me. but that was still pretty bad. It's not, that's not the purpose yet. So that was an outer game version. We're thinking of all the things to do right. Do it quickly, try hard, clap clearly, give the cue, do all that stuff. Now we do a different version of that, and when my hand goes by you, I want you to clap. Is that clear? All right. So we'll start here, and we'll see whether that does any different of a clap. It's creating magic in this room. Are you ready? Wow. See how quick that was? And the reason is that you didn't think. You just watched, visual focus, and you act. You were good anyway. You're still going to get the $100. So that's the example of sight. Sound. Sound. Sound focuses, we have 4 sub-areas of sound, and that's why you go to music school. There is pitch, rhythm, timbre, and volume. That's it. That's all there is in terms of what can be changing with the sound. Any one of those areas, if something doesn't sound the way it's supposed to, if it's in the category of rhythm, you know where to go in that direction. So in terms of, oh, wait a minute. Listening. Okay. So here's a quick listening exercise. I'm no more money, sorry. So I want you to not watch anything. We're going to do this sound with your teeth. Make a hissing sound with a nice articulation. And we'll try and get it together. But I'll give you a good tempo, and then you're just going to repeat so on. Is that clear? Okay? So here's the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. So, anybody was thinking, wait a minute, you said it'd give me a good tempo? And there was no tempo. So what are you supposed to do? Is it louder? Is it softer? That's what's going on here. So that's, again, the mind coming in, manipulating us. All right, now, let's try another exercise. You have to do this louder so you can all hear in the group. Okay? So I will have you start without a tempo, and I want you to repeat the psst, psst. Okay? And just notice whether you're ahead or behind everybody else in the room, whether you start sooner or later than everyone else. And with that attention, you'll know where to put your next sound. Is that clear? You're listening for that. Okay, you ready? Go. All right, right away. You could hear that, and you chose your tempo, and didn't rush, and you knew exactly what to do. Now let's do the same thing. Take it one further step and listen to the end of the sound, whether you're hanging on to the psst longer or shorter than everybody else in the room. Is that clear? Listening to the end. All right, go. Perfect. Perfect. All you when you're trying to get an ensemble to play together, the answer is if you're too fast or too slow, it's listen to the pulse, whether you're ahead or behind the pulse. It's remarkable how powerful a tool that could get you into that place. Okay? It's listening. Now, the next category is the feeling category. This is all in the category of awareness. In terms of feeling, we have just two kinds of feeling, and within these two techniques lies the number one most popular technique for overcoming anxiety with the inner game. So pay attention, because this is the good stuff. All right. The first aspect of feeling is tactile. If you play an instrument, it makes a sound, something's vibrating. And if you're making a sound, you probably have a connection to that sound. And so whether it's through your fingers or your mouth vibrating, or some resistance, or touch, or bow resistance, or air resistance, you can pay attention to that, and it'll connect you to the sounds that you're making, which is very easy. The second form of feeling has to do with your body, your own energy. So you could be playing something that's very calm and beautiful, and yet you're feeling nervous and scared. And those two are different. So the music is down here in terms of energy, and you're up here. And all you need to do for the miracle of this technique is to pay attention to where both are at the same time. But this isn't something that a lot of people teach. How often, I ask you and I invite you, do you become aware, moment by moment, phrase by phrase, of what is the energy of the music that you're playing at that moment? You know, it could be just notes and rhythms, it could be phrases or something pictorial, but being responsible to say, well, it starts calm and then it builds a little bit, and then there's some excitement, and then it calms down at the end, or there's a certain structure, there's a flow. It doesn't stay the same. That's the beauty of music, is that it's a constant ebb and flow, but that monitoring is critical. And then the second part is, how good are you at monitoring what's going on in your body while this is going up and down? And that's a discipline. But it's a very powerful discipline, and it's very simple to control that when you know what you're looking at controlling. If you're not aware that your body is even connected to your music, the music goes all over the place, you can't do this. If you're connected with your body and the music starts to build, and you feel the energy of that in your body, and then it starts to relax, and then you're starting to relax, then you're riding along the waves. Yeah, like fish or whatever. And that is our goal. Singers can do this. It's awesome with a singing demonstration where you have a person singing a piece, and you ask them with one hand to give the energy of the piece as it's going up and down, and the other hand what's going on with your body. But it's kind of hard to do that when your hands are on the saxophone. So you have to do this in your mind. But this is the most amazing way, especially when you start a piece of music. I mean, I'm going to play all kinds of music tonight, and nothing sounds the same. Before I press any button, I have to think, what's this piece about? Where do I have to put myself so that on the first note, I'm in the flow of that rhythm? Jazz. We have jazz people in here? Yes? Okay. So how does a person who leads a combo or a jazz band start a group? This is classic. They usually stand up and they get the group. Look at everybody else in the same group. Y'all go ready? And they go 1, 2, 3. And then you're in it. Now when they play Beethoven's Fifth, they don't go 1, 2, 3. But some conductors give you 3 and 4. And son is professional percussionist in the Air Force Band, and they have to play sometimes triangles or cymbals on opposite sides of the ensemble to a beat that's not coming from the conductor, and it could even be a slow one. How do they do that? He tells me, he says, we study the rhythm of what's going on in the subdivisions of those rhythms, and we make sure we're both locked into that same pulse, and we don't look at the conductor. So, all the time. And once they're in that place, they can do that. So that's a real critical thing. The last part of awareness, and we'll have a quick demonstration, is understanding. What are we playing? How can we monitor what we're playing? Well, if you're playing a development section, for example, a lot of black notes, well, it goes through harmonies, it goes through themes. If it's a dance form, there's something implied with the dance form when you're playing a dance form, or a funeral march, or a happy march, or a lullaby. These things, when you know what it is that is inspiring the music, what its true function is, you can tap into that in a monitoring way, as well as a trust way. So, no demonstration for that, but sight, sound, feeling, what we understand. Sub-areas 4, 4, 2, lots of forms of understanding of the instrument. Lots of good choices just in the first system of awareness. Now, let us do a very quick, I'm running out of time, so one, come on up, and I want you to play something really quick. Not quick, but quickly come up, and quickly put the elbow in your mouth, and quickly play something. So I've asked him to play something maybe 1 minute worth of music, and I'll ask him a question or two of what might not be in pure focus, and I'll give him an awareness instruction, and we'll see what difference that makes. Okay? So let's hear it for one.
I immediately became self-conscious about how much is my sound being just blasted out towards the audience and against, like, it's staying near me. Because I'm very used to playing up here. In this country, we'll play a little lower, just more grounded. So it's been a struggle for me to just figure out, okay, how do I make myself aware that I need to project, but it also has to stay, close together with the pianist.
Okay. Okay. So you want to have an awareness of the room, and at the same time you want to have a intimacy of the instrument that you're playing at the same time. Okay. So go ahead, and this is ridiculously simple. Awareness techniques only ask you to pay attention to what it is that you want to adjust. So while you're playing, I want you to monitor, and this, by, again, remind you, is not a way we want to always play music. It's all the way we want to always find the solution to some issue that needs adjustment, okay? So in this case, it has to do with the projection. It's a very subtle challenge, frankly, but we can do this with an awareness activity. All I'm asking you to do is notice while you're playing, where's the music going? Is it lost out there, or is it stuck right here? a sense of where you would like it to be? Do you, first of all?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah. It should be together. It should all move together, and it should just feel like a warm embrace.
Okay. All right. So let's monitor the way it's feeling while you're playing, where it's projecting, and where it's feeling. Okay.
Okay.
And with that awareness, I give you permission to change your volume, your tempo, character, whatever you notice. You might want to do something different with it because you realize it's out there and you bring it back, or it's here and you put it out, or you this, that, or the other. The awareness will tell you what you would like to do with it, but your awareness first discovers where it is, and that's what I want you to use as your source, is pay attention to what's going on with the projection.
Okay.
All right. So how did that feel?
Different. I was immediately aware that my beginning, my sound reached basically like the end of the stage.
Right.
And I knew that when I wanted to grow, it just felt like I could reach the rows of the public,
So,
and I could bring it back to.
could you feel a difference in the way he was approaching, the way he was identifying with what he was playing? Your focus is clear. I mean, you could be right here, or you could be right there, you could be only out there, and he was using his body in a very effective way of projecting the music, but not in such a way that it's getting out of hand. Okay, and it had a nice, I think it had a nicer flow. I feel the difference. Awesome. Well, thank you. All right. So commitment, very briefly, we'll talk about commitment, and then we'll go through trust, and then a little trust demo at the end. I think we're good. So commitment is a two-part source. How does the music go, and how are we doing this on the oboe, the violin, the bass, choir, the chamber group? Bach needs to sound like Bach, no matter who's playing it, you know. And how do we find out how it should go? Well, there's a number of ways of doing that. You listen to recordings. You can ask your teacher to play it for you. You can imagine how it would sound when you've practiced it for a lot longer. You can sing it, audiate it in some way, slower until you get it into your head, so that you don't practice and play mistakes of something that's not in the music. The whole idea is get that music in your nervous system so that whatever you play, if it's not what you understand or what you want, you don't remember it. You say, that's not it, it's something else. You only are practicing and playing something that you know. It's like if you sing a familiar tune, you don't think about the song Happy Birthday, you know the tune. You don't sing it and say, oops, I made a wrong mistake. Happy birthday. So we've got to get that to that place, and then we have to work it out on our instrument, and that's the technical side, the articulations, the bowings, the pedaling, the expression, all of the things that we need to do so that the Bach jig sounds like a Bach jig on the bass or the flute or the piano or whatever it is that we're playing. Once we're clear on that, we're good to go. We just do it. There's no awareness to it. It's clarification. Go out there and just do it. Instant, it's in advance. Awareness techniques are monitoring skills, take place while we're doing something. Commitment skills take place, clearly, great word. What are we doing? How are we going to do it? Once we're clear on that, have So that's what commitment is about. Working in the college area, my experience, I've been doing this for 38, 39, I don't know how many years, this is huge. So often the problem with anxiety when it comes in is that the person has to figure it out, whether it's the fourth finger or the third finger. They're not sure where the mistake is. They're not sure what it's supposed to sound like. And once we clarify that, no problem, okay? If it's a breathing problem, they don't know where they're supposed to be breathing. They don't know where they're supposed to take the breath. They don't know how much breath they need to do to get through the phrase. They just know it's not working. These are things that we have to be responsible for when we're clear on it. It's just done. And finally, trust. Trust is the worst word to describe what it actually represents in terms of our concentration. Because the word trust could be used in more ways than just one that I'm referring to. Trust for inner game is a metaphor. It means what best represents what's going on in the music. It's not faith in the Almighty, just hoping everything's going to work out. I trust we're going to be just fine. That's blind trust, and I believe in that. That's great, but not for music. You've got to trust the lullaby, or the excitement, or the calmness, or the explosion, or the energy, or the dance, or whatever it is that is being done, if it elicits something that's more authentic to the music than what's going on at the current moment. So, sing a song with your flute. Dance with the jig. Imagine the lake, a calmness, feel the air, from Debussy or Ravel or whatever is so beautiful. Put yourself where the music is and access that, and you'll have it. The most classic trust technique for the inner game of tennis initially by Timothy Gallwey was role playing. Okay, so he would teach amateur tennis players. This was on national television way back in the 50s or 60s, and he would get them playing like pros without any instruction. And so at that time, the most famous tennis player of power and skill was a guy named John McEnroe. He's still a great broadcaster. Have you ever heard of the name John McEnroe? Somebody raise their hand. Yeah, okay. All right. So this guy, he's teaching him how to play tennis. I was there. I saw this in Los Angeles. And he says, well, what would you like to work on today? And he says, well, I can't serve. And so he says, well, what's the problem with your serve? He says, well, there's no strength, there's no speed, there's no power to it. It just stinks. He says, well, show me how you serve. He says, oh, sure, I'll show you. So he takes his hand in racket, he throws the ball up. Sure. It doesn't even go all the way to the net. And then he asks him, well, who's your favorite tennis player that serves the way you dream to play? He says, John McEnroe. Gallwey says, well, how does he serve? He says, McEnroe? Oh my God, he's so strong, he's so powerful, he's so accurate. He throws the ball up and smashes it in the court, and it goes so fast nobody can get near it. He says, great. Can you show me what that looks like? And so he says, oh, sure. He takes the ball, throws it out in the air, smashes it to the other side of the court. And wow. And he says, wow, that was amazing. He says, and how do you do it again? So in role playing, you abstract the qualities that are represented in the music. If it's your favorite violinist, if it's your favorite teacher, if it's your favorite recording, if it's you in the practice room, not at the audition, if it's you playing an audition, playing in the section rather than playing as a solo, that's a different role that you play when everybody else is playing the same part. Oh, I play like that, no problem. But when I play for an audition, all these things we can abstract all the qualities that are essential to that music. And so that's the role playing. so many kinds of role playing. I'll give you a video example of role playing. As I said, I started doing this many decades ago. I love playing this because it's such a classic video. But it's an example of role playing with Gene Corcoran. We talked about Gene Corcoran today in the CCM wind ensemble. And you might recognize me, you might not recognize me because I look a little different than I do today. But trust me, that's me in the video too. So let's watch this example of role playing.
Actually, some very nice things. Can I ask John and Sean, please, if you could play in a little more relaxed style? What's happening is you're putting accuracy in front of feeling. And I'd like a little more feelingful kind of approach, more commercial, looser, casual. Maybe kind of like Chuck Mangione might play, kind of that casual approach to playing, that kind of relaxed style.
Gene, I just happen to have a recording of Chuck Mangione playing in this casual style. And Sean, let's listen to this sound and see if this captures the quality of the round. It's just like really loose, laid back. No cares. Okay, John and Sean, you're Chuck Mangione.
29.
Just in case you had any doubts of who that guy was. So, it's either Chiara or Cassandra. I got time for one more trust demonstration. Who's the first person? She's running. Is that Cassandra? Okay, I will disrobe. My favorite thing to do. And after this short demonstration, if you have some questions, I can stay, or we can have a couple of brief questions. Very often there's no questions. That's my goal. Simple. And if I failed in my presentation, then there's 100 questions. We'll see. Oh, I need a chair. I'll get a chair. excitement.
Yeah.
All right. That's these and these
Yeah.
and this.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start. That's got the big scales right there. Why don't we just, in the essence of time, can we start somewhere in here? Is there a place to start? And what's going on here? How would you describe, before you get to the really exciting scales, energy? It's like a race? Is it like what's that? What kind of excitement is it?
Maybe imagine a person to explain something. Maybe imagine that I win something. And I
Oh,
would like
you're
to-
excited because you just got the $100. Okay, I do have another $100 here. If you are really excited, in fact, let me just put this here. Here's mine. All right, so, and then before that, it's less exciting. What is this about? This stuff.
Yeah.
Play it and then tell me something about it. No, not here, this part, because this is the part. Okay, so is this more exciting than that? Here? Or is it similar? Or is this preparing that? How do you feel about
It's
it?
like a process.
Moving towards that. Good. Okay. So it leads into that, right? So if you're really excited, and now you're not too excited, but you're getting excited. So that's what you're going to feel. That's the energy that we want to express. Okay. So just let's look at the two shades of excitement, of getting excited and really getting excited. And if you jump out of your chair with excitement, that's okay. Whatever you feel like doing, more bow, different dynamic, however you use your body that represents excitement. Let's see what it's like. It's that feeling of energy, of excitement, and that's a trust technique. Excitement isn't, those are runs, 16-note runs. It's a clear example of the difference between the energy versus the notes. Okay, what's this about? It's just a little reminder of outer games. This is a very 60-second video to remind us of what we should be thinking of when we're playing. Band trip. Pretty close. Oh, we talked about that, right? Outer games. Fame, glory, bragging rights. Adoration or fans, standing ovations. Only you still have to play the part. It's all about you. It's not about us. It's about what's the message. A little reminder. So in conclusion, turn up the music. Don't use this as a way to play music. Don't script every time you get to that passage in those 16th notes. You have to get excited. If you're excited already, just play it. You're there. Use it when you need it. And it'll put you back on track so that we want to feel as if we're not thinking of anything. No voices whatsoever. No sound, just the music. And when the voice comes in, it's a course correction, very temporary, very quick, very instant. The beauty of the inner game is like psychology. It's instant. As soon as your attention is in a different area, it transforms what you play. You saw that in all the little demonstrations. You don't have to practice it. If you're thinking of this, and it's in the music, that's what you get. If you're thinking of something else, it has an impact. Other disciplines require practice, but mental attention is just attention, and it takes care of yourself. We're just wanting to get back to ground zero. Everybody wants to get out of jail. Nobody wants to be imprisoned by our thoughts and our fears. We all want to be free and have the monkey off our back so that we can do what we love to do and what we enjoy to do without distraction. And that's our true goal. So thank you for your attention. I'm sorry I don't have $100 bills for everybody, but I think this concludes the session. Is there a burning question that somebody wants to ask? Good.
Thank you, Barry. Please, just a reminder, he's performing at 7:30. It's a very unique. I hope to see everyone tonight because it's a very different